Hey guys, welcome to the Midweek Check-in. Hey you guys, we're going to talk this week about two different references, one from last week and one from this week, which is in the book of 2 Kings 5. And it's the story of Naaman and how he is healed of his leprosy. The first thing I want to point out about this story, you guys, is the fact that Naaman actually had a pretty high expectation of what it was going to look like for him to be healed. He thought that when he went to approach Elisha, that Elisha was going to speak over him and he was going to just be healed because of the power that Elisha had because of Elisha's God. Now, Elisha's God at this time was not Naaman's God. And so when he showed up at Elisha's house and Elisha told him to go dip in the river, Naaman was pretty mad. He was like, what? I have rivers back where I'm from. I could have just dipped in the river back where I'm from and I would have been just fine if that's all you were going to do. His expectation did not meet what God was going to ask him to do. I wonder if that happens to us, you guys. I wonder if a lot of times when we're looking for healing or deliverance or direction or wisdom or protection, that when we ask God, the way that He answers our prayers is something that we didn't expect. So we have put an expectation on God, and because of that expectation on God that we have put, we now are unable to receive or see what it is He's really trying to do. Now, luckily, this didn't happen to Naaman. Naaman had some smart people all around him, and they were like, hey, just give it a go. This is Elisha, after all. Anyway, what happened was that Naaman went and he dipped in the river, and he was indeed healed of his leprosy. He went back to Elisha and said, thank you so much. And by the way, I now forever will be devoted to your God. He could see that Elisha's God, our God, was powerful and almighty and had the ability to meet people right where they are, to deliver them from the things that they're suffering from, come alongside, to give the comfort, the direction, the need. We can think of all the things that we go before the Father for. And ultimately, Naaman saw that too. And so he was telling Elisha, that's it. I'm all done with my God. It's going to be all about your God. One last thing that I want to point out about this story that we find in the second half is all about this guy named, let me get his name. His name is Gehazi. What happened with this guy, he actually was Elisha's buddy. He worked with Elisha pretty closely. And Naaman was trying to thank Elisha for healing him by trying to give him. And Elisha was like, no. You don't have to give me anything. And that's when Naaman decided he was going to devote the rest of his life to Elisha's God. Well, Gehazi decided, actually, I think that Elisha was too easy on Naaman. And I'm going to go after him, and I'm going to actually take from him what he was going to give him, which was some money and some clothing. What happened is that Elisha found out that this happened. And he actually said to Gehazi, hey, what Naaman was delivered from, his leprosy, will actually now affect your family for generations to come. Basically, Gehazi didn't want to just give this healing to Naaman. He wanted him to pay for it. That's another thing I think sometimes we do. We actually don't want to serve others without expecting something back. And God does not work that way. Or maybe we receive something from God and we think now we have to do something for Him. We have to carry out acts in order to say thank you. Really, He just wants our hearts. He just wants our praise. He just wants us to turn toward Him more and more and more and to offer more of ourselves to Him, like Elisha was willing to receive from Naaman. You guys, this week is a great story. I hope that you press into this. Again, you'd have to go back to last week in 2 Kings, the beginning, and then of course this week, 2 Kings 5, the end, to kind of get the whole story all put together. But go back and take a look and see if you can see yourself in there. You have expectations for God, and therefore you might miss Him when He's trying to answer your prayers because He wants to do it in a way that we didn't expect. He wants you to dip in the river, and we want Him to just speak over us. And then what about looking for payment? What about looking for, getting something back for offering something that we have that we freely give? Or feeling like we have to give something back to God if He's giving something to us freely. You don't want to be like Gehazi. That's it, you guys, for me this week. I hope that you are well. I pray that you are continuing to get in the Word, continuing to press into your Lectio Divina journals, and we're getting plugged in some way. Remember that this spiritual discipline is the only way that we get to engage in God's truth on the daily. His Word is alive and well, and when we receive it, we get to see what He wants to do inside of us through stories like Naaman's. All right, you guys, that's it for me. Blessings.